Come in. Come in. You're just in time for season 5 of Littlepodcast of Horrors. Ooh, this season's gonna be a doozy. Oh, sounds like our intrepid trio is about to begin. Go on in and enjoy the show.
We're back, baby.
Back with a vengeance.
We know you missed us.
Yeah. Whoever's been calling and hanging up, you need to stop that.
Season 5.
You know you haven't hit it big until people start stalking and harassing you. That's what we're waiting for, so that we'll know we've made it.
I'm not waiting for that. No, nobody do that. That's not a good thing. Don't listen to him. Looking outside and there's like somebody standing in the rain watching me. It's like, oh, well, there we are.
I'm your greatest fan, Chris.
I've been watching you. Cue Sting.
So hey, it's a new season. What are we drinking, gang?
I'm drinking a body armor because I'm getting too old for alcohol.
I didn't know body armor was edible, much less in liquid form. I think that would be something you'd have to eat, and even then you like break your teeth because it's body armor.
It is superior hydration.
You're supposed to wear it.
It's a fruit. It's a super drink, as it says, but it's got natural flavors, coconut water.
I know what body armor is. I'm just
others people not. It's got
I think
everyone knows what body armor. Oh, really?
I did not know. No.
It's got electrolytes per bottle. It's actually got 1,200 milligrams of potassium. It's got vitamin A, C, and E. It has B vitamins. It's a great drink to rehydrate with.
Nice.
So yeah, I thought so.
My idiocracy joke did not land.
Oh, it landed.
It's got electrolytes. It's what a body needs.
Electrolytes. I've never seen Idiocracy.
What?
Me either.
We're gonna have to fix that off air.
I'm good. Oh, watch LPH watch party.
I mean, actually, no, because we're kind of living it now, in a sense.
Yeah.
So,
unfortunately,
maybe the time has passed to enjoy that movie.
Yeah, it's like what was it? Like somebody was comparing it at the RNC when freaking Hulk Hogan came out.
Yes, because he was. It was like sorry, that's way off topic. But he was totally the president for Idiocracy. It was hilarious and also disturbing, and that's the last I'll say of that because we got bigger things to talk about today.
Yeah. All right. Well, what are you drinking, Christina?
I'm double fisting.
Whoa.
Water and bubbly water.
Oh, you pick me up and then you let me right down.
That's how I am. I like to devastate people.
So
what about you, James?
I am drinking for now that we're going into the fall. I am drinking Super Smash from, one of my favorite breweries I bring up all the time, Martin House, and it's a pumpkin stout.
Oh, nice. Okay. That sounds tasty.
It is a heavy-hitting pumpkin stout. I'm here for it.
So he'll be trashed 5 minutes into his episode.
This is the kind of episode we need that for.
Oh, I'm all for this. All right. Buckle up, kids. This is going to get crazy then.
I wouldn't get your hopes that far up.
I never do.
So, if you recall, way back in season 1, I did this little episode about this guy in space. And once upon a time, there was a little blonde boy named Ashtar who would one day grow up to lead an invisible space fleet surrounding the Earth.
One of those feel-good stories.
It really is. Really is. So anyway, in the first season, I did a really high-level overview that IMHO left a lot to be desired because there's like so many other leads to run off from just from the overview. But I introduced you to George Van Tassel and how he was kind of like one of the first one of the first major figures in the UFO craze of the 1950s and 60s, how he kind of helped the movement get going. And then while he was channeling all these aliens through his psychic telepathic connections with them, he talked to a bunch of alien boys, but the most prominent of the alien gang was Ashtar.
Hey, Ashtar! Ow! Ashtar!
And then, I gave you an overview of Ashtar, but it was very high level. And then we closed our last season doing a deeper dive on Van Tassel, his crazy life, his friend who blew himself up in a hole under a boulder, as you do.
Don't play with dynamite, kids.
Yeah. We talked about some end of the world prophecies that were reverted, but we left off on once again, George talking Ashtar, or Ashtar talking George's ear off, rather. So at long last, we're going to come back home to our roots, and we're going to fully embrace the love of Ashtar.
Ow! Ashtar!
I'm ready. My arms are wide open. My body is ready for Ashtar.
So let me tell you guys, it is a challenge to put together just a single episode on this dude, because holy crap, the further you go into Ashtar lore, the more branches of rabbit holes you run into, and it just goes and it goes and it goes. So just strap in, because I'm just gonna pick one of those branches and run. But for today, I'm going to start at the root of that tree. I mentioned in the season finale that Van Tassel had wrote, or if I was speaking in good grammar, had written a few books. One of those books was titled I Rode a Flying Saucer, and it was published in 1952. This is the first time that George in print shares all the many messages he received telepathically from all these various aliens while sleeping out on the desert sands out in the Mojave, as you do. And this is the book that first introduces us to Ashtar and gives us our first founding Ashtar lore, from which everything else going forward springs. So during the break between seasons, I read that book. It's a pretty short book. It's an easy to read book. You can knock it out like in a couple hours, actually. But most of that book is Ashtar. Like, he spends time hopping from one alien to another, but once Ashtar shows up, like, Ashtar just dominates the telepathic radio feed. It's like the all Ashtar channel from that point forward.
It's the Ashtar show.
And I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Welcome to the Ashtar show.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to explore the messages from the man himself. And we are, for the first time on this show, we are going to hear Ashtar speak to us in his first messages to George Van Tassel. We will find out from the proverbial alien horse's mouth what the blonde beauty of space actually has to say, unfiltered. So hope you guys are ready. And we're going to dissect it, and we're going to talk about it.
Fun
Hell
times.
yeah. Let's go.
All right. So just one source, really, one primary source for today's episode, the aforementioned book.
Mm-hmm.
It's enough of a source on its own. And all of these quotes that I'm going to be sharing with you and that we're going to be talking about, I'm going to take directly out of the book. So no content editing on my part to spice things up as if it needed it. One thing I am doing, though, because I got to give into some OCD, I did make some editorial corrections on what I'm reading. So, for example, like for whatever reason, George throughout his book talks about vortices, plural, but when he talks about the singular, he says vortice. It's like, that's not correct. It's vortex. So I corrected the quotes to say vortex. I'm sure none of you people care about that, but it was driving me crazy and I had to fix it. So just for the sake, that's the one thing that's a little less authentic, is I corrected his words.
Okay.
But otherwise it's all pure.
I accept.
You may carry on.
Okay, so remember, setting the scene, George has at this point in 1952 talked to a whole bunch of aliens. Like they've been And like every time I shared several of them with you in the season finale last season, like they would really short messages to be like, I'm so and so from quadrant such and such, I come from station share, blah blah blah. And they talk about they're talking to us humans, they're bringing messages to George to share with humanity on our planet's Earth that they refer to as Shan or Shan, Shan. Never heard it pronounced. I'm going to say Sean. That sounds good. Also, it's a dude's name, so it's kind of funny.
Lots of Seans.
Shan, Planet Sean. Anytime you hear Sean, it's just them using their word for Earth.
Planet of the Sean.
Anyway, I digress. He's talking to a whole bunch of aliens, and so he's been doing this for a while. And it's at this point Ashtar finally shows up after the lower ranking guys have already kind of come through and done their introductions, if you will,
and wrecked George's second marriage.
Right. No, I think that was the that was a different guy. There was a couple of side characters I threw at you. Yeah, no.
Ooh.
The one that ruined the second marriage was the guy who had the sexy captain alien that he had.
Oh,
lunch.
that's right. Okay, I stand corrected.
Yeah, George was faithful to the end, as far as I'm aware. He resisted those beautiful golden locks.
Don't use your alien wiles on me.
So let's get into it. On July 18 of 1952, George receives his first telepathic communication from Ashtar.
Hail to you, beings of Shan. I greet you in love and peace. My identity is Ashtar, Commandant, Quadrasector, Control Station, Share, all projections, all ways. Greetings. Through the Council of the Seven Lights, you have been brought here, inspired with the inner lights to help your fellow man. You are mortals, and other mortals can only understand that which their fellow man can understand. The purpose of this organization is, in a sense, to save mankind from itself. Some years ago, your time, your nuclear physicist, penetrated the book of knowledge. They discovered how to explode the atom. Disgusting as the results have been, that this force should be used for destruction. It is not compared to that which can be. We have not been concerned with their explosion of plutonium and U-235, the uranium mother element. This atom is an inert element. We are concerned, however, with their attempts to explode the hydrogen element. This element is life-giving, along with 5 other elements in the air you breathe, in the water you drink, in the composition of your physical self. In much of your material planets is this life-giving atomic substance, hydrogen. Their efforts in the field of science have been successful to the extent that they are not content to rest on the laurels of a power beyond their use. Not content with the entire destruction of an entire city at a time. They must have something more destructive. They've got it. When they explode the hydrogen atom, they shall extinguish life on this planet. They are tinkering with a formula they do not comprehend. They are destroying a life-giving element of the creative intelligence.
Dang.
He's coming in hot.
Yeah. It's like, stop fucking doing what y'all are doing. Damn.
I love that he's got this kind of like benevolent, but nonetheless talking down to his tone.
Okay, listen to Daddy Ashtar.
Daddy Ashtar knows what's best.
Yep.
So this will be a theme. Ashtar's just kind of he loves us, but he's getting kind of fed up with our crap.
I don't blame him.
So it's for a little bit of a context. Remember, this is 1952. This is like the Cold War is going hot, to speak paradoxically. So It's all about the race of, the arms race of who's going to build the bigger bomb first. This is going to be us. This is going to be the Soviets. So that's a real life backdrop to what this was already on everyone's minds at the time. So and also note that at this point, again, 1952, as he notes, we've succeeded in harnessing the atom, if you will, but we haven't yet at this point in history developed the hydrogen bomb, the H bomb. So that's what he's warning against. Like, you're getting ready to do it, don't do it. You better not do it. You're gonna regret it.
Oh shit.
So also, like, he's already telling George about stuff, like, as if we all know what he's talking about. Like, your nuclear physicist that penetrated the book of knowledge. What?
Like, duh. That's been in the news. Come on, James.
So I did some searching around, because it's like, if we're supposed to know what is this something that people in 1952 went, oh yeah, the book of knowledge? Like, I doubt it. But like, so I did some searching around to try to find if there's actually some official title mainstream book called the Book of Knowledge. There kind of was. At least, like, in 1952, there was a book titled The Book of Knowledge, and it was a volume of children's encyclopedias. You could buy it on Amazon right now.
Wow.
They have the power.
Encyclopedias. I mean, it was like
encyclopedias.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you remember back in those days, you had the door-to-door encyclopedia salesman.
Yes.
Do you want your child to have the book of knowledge? Well, you can own it for 4 easy payments.
Yeah. So I don't think Ashtar was talking about the precursor to the Encyclopedia Britannica, but I want to believe he was. Anyway, let's continue, because he's not done. This was just the first half of the message.
He's just getting warmed up.
Yeah, that was just the preamble, baby.
Our message to you is this. You shall advance to your government all information we have transmitted to you. You shall request that your government shall immediately contact all other Earth nations, regardless of political feelings. Many of your physicists with an inner perception development have refused to have anything to do with the explosion of the hydrogen atom. The explosion of an atom of inert substance and that of a living substance are two different things. We are not concerned with man's desire to continue war on this planet, Sean. We are concerned with their deliberate determination to extinguish humanity and turn this planet into a cinder. Your materialists will disagree with our attempt to warn mankind. Rest assured, they shall cease to explode life-giving atoms, or we shall eliminate all projects connected with such. Our missions are peaceful, but this condition occurred before in the solar system, and the planet Lucifer was torn to bits. We are determined that it shall not happen again. The governments on the planet Sean have conceded that we are of a higher intelligence. They must concede also that we are of a higher authority. We do not have to enter their buildings to know they are doing. We have the formula they would like to use. It is not meant for destruction. Your purpose here has been to build a receptivity that we could communicate with your planet. For by the attraction of light substance atoms, we control your universe. To your government and to your people, and through them to all governments and all peoples on the planet of Sean, accept the warning as a blessing that mankind may survive. My lights, we shall remain in touch here at this cone of receptivity. My love.
I'm
Oh,
Ashtar.
damn. He's trying to
You know-
seduce him.
Like, my love.
I'm hooked. Ashtar.
Getting a
Oh,
little
he's-
heated here.
He probably just flipped those little golden locks. He said that. Just
And the fan's blowing, the hair, the locks are going. Like, yes, my light.
I just
I
love
love.
that. He comes in hot with this like extensive doom and gloom message and warning, like, hey, we're gonna come intervene if you don't knock it off, then my love. Like, oh, please come intervene. I'm waiting.
Oh, he's so cute.
Find out Ashtar is a very loving guy.
Yeah. It was trying to do one of those things where, like, you know, when you have criticism and you like sandwich it between two good things.
Right. So first up, hold on a minute. What's this he's saying about, like, our governments have already conceded that he and his crew have a higher intelligence? When did this happen?
Well, what was it in the 1940s that conspiracy that one of the presidents made a deal with aliens?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe it's feeding off that.
I want to see, you know, like, now that a bunch of stuff has been declassified, I want to see some US government, like, okay, we admit they're smarter than us. I want to see that in the redacted. Yeah, so he's saying it's like, they already know we're smarter, but it's time that they admit we're also the higher authority.
And we have the best hair.
They know
right.
they know we're the shit. And now they just need to acknowledge that we've also got the power.
So, like, yeah, it's time that they affirm his higher authority, my love. Ashtar's the top, obviously.
Respect my authority.
Yes, respect my authority.
Yeah, it needs to, it just goes into, like, so, you know, take it, my love. Respect my authority. What? Just changed real fast.
I do have a question, though, about this planet Lucifer. So where in the solar system was it?
Okay, yeah, that, again, he name drops it like, oh, yeah, you know, Lucifer. So, yeah, like, I got really curious about that, too. So, shocker, I couldn't find much, but what I could find was back in the days of the Romans name for the planet Venus was Lucifer.
Oh, and it's a very hot planet. Yeah,
right,
uninhabitable.
If you've ever seen, like, we've landed something or other, you know, over there to capture like, it's not a whole lot of video of it, but if you see, like, any of the video that we have captured on the ground of Venus, it is a hellscape.
Yeah,
it is very well named, ironically.
Oh, that's cool.
Like,
okay.
So are we saying that, you know, Venus used to be a bustling civilization like ours, and it's the hellscape it is today because they blew themselves to oblivion?
Maybe. That's cool. Okay, thank you.
So also gotta love the we don't have to enter your buildings flex.
They're the NSA, basically.
Right.
They already know what you're up to.
He just kind of drops that in passing, and it's like, can't hide anything from us. We don't even need to be there.
Mm-mm.
We're telepathic, invisible aliens with invisible spaceships. Your walls ain't gonna stop us.
How primitive.
Y'all are just so pitiful.
Okay. Anywho, so that introduces, that's Ashtar coming hot, introduced himself on the scene. So that, you know, I said that was on July 18th of 52. He doesn't stay quiet long after that. He pops back up next month on August 1st. So his next message to George, who's ready to receive.
I'll bet he's ready to receive.
In the lights of universal law, I greet you in peace. I am Ashtar. With reference to all attempts to trap us, I would suggest that it would be much easier to trap a character off the visor of your television. When your authorities discover how to trap light substance, we would also like to know the formula. We ignore any further discussion of this subject.
I feel like
boo-boo. Like,
I almost feel like he would this would be a musical every time he speaks. Like, every time he comes in, he just, yeah.
Who would play him?
I don't know. Right now I'm seeing Chris Hemsworth from, like, Thor Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
You know, just be like, we don't even have to come into your buildings. We will just project ourselves to you, love, Ashtar. Like, this just needs to be a rock opera every time his letters come, his messages.
Yes.
That's
yes.
it. It's a rock opera.
Totally a rock opera. I mean, you can't have hair like that and not be in a hair metal band. So this whole like he's flexing again. He sounds like, oh, so we got wind that your government's trying to trap us, trying to capture us. They're wasting your time. You can't grab light, and that's what we are. You'd be better off trying to yank a character off your TV. You're wasting your time. Knock it off. End of discussion. So parental again.
Yeah. When you figured this out, let me know.
Right?
Then we can have a grown-up talk.
Right. So this wasn't the first time that George had gotten this explanation of them being made of light. Earlier in the book, I said you talked to a whole bunch of other aliens. So he had previously, of those many aliens, he had previously talked to Ashtar's colleague, a gentle alien by the name of Klaatu. Klaatu, just for clarification, aboard Klaatu was from the second projection, fourth wave, third sector patrol. And he explained to George that all of their ships are made of an indestructible, quote unquote, light substance, which I find interesting.
So are Ashtar and his alien friends and all that actually hovering outside space, or are they like basically projections from their planet and this light substance?
They are hovering. Yeah, they are hovering over the planet. Some other message, they actually tell you exactly how many, tens of thousands of feet above our surface they are, and they are projecting from there. So they're just
okay. So they are there though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now remember, from the season finale, there were some aliens who would on occasion actually come down. Like there was the one who drove a Cadillac, if you recall.
Oh, right. Yes,
Right.
of course, a Cadillac. Yes. Like, I'm luxury, baby.
So apparently, assuming these are of the same species, they can take on material forms when needed.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, he talks about. They keep talking about being of a light substance. So to refer to some real science, light is both a wave and a substance, a photon. So it's both a wave and a particle, right? So that he's not completely blowing smoke. So I guess they're made of photons, is what he's saying in a roundabout way. All right. So with that in mind, though, I got some bad news for you, Ashtar, coming from the 2020s. Quantum physics is a thing now. We're kind of working our way through that. So let me explain to you just real quick a little bit of science, as put in my words, that being of an idiot. So theorists at the Pritzker School of Molecular Engineering, that's at the University of Chicago, they have since 2021 been working on a means to trap single photons.
Well, and let's be real, they got this from the Kids Encyclopedia Book of Knowledge. So
That's right, they did.
So
cite your sources, guys.
So I'm just saying, it's like maybe Ashtar needs to stop bragging so much, because we might be yanking some characters off some TV screens at this rate.
You might, Ashtar.
Feel like Ashtar would start to say something, his buddy's like, actually, they figured that out. What? When? You gotta tell me these things, Phil.
Klaatu, why didn't you tell me this?
Klaatu, come on! Made me look like an idiot.
Anyway, the message that I so politely interrupted continues.
Our efforts are in the cause of peace, true peace. Many of your higher authorities throughout the nations of the planet Sean have lost all comprehension of the word peace. For they are under the influences of the forces of darkness. The first thought that enters the minds of those in this darkness is not to find out what the other object of our visitation is, but rather to destroy us, to find out what we are made of. We We can assure you that all their efforts, made with the object of destruction, will avail them not. Those individuals assigned to the station of Cher are capable of conversing through mental telepathy with mortal beings in the higher light on the planet Sean at will. We are not desirous of staging a show, but I will inform you that if opposition forces, mortal or otherwise, persist in their efforts, we can put 100,000 units a second in operation. They will be financially embarrassed to produce mechanical aircraft at that rate.
I love it.
You'll be
And
so
the U.S. has been trying to
embarrassed.
catch up ever since.
You will be so embarrassed. You see the shit that we can do.
But seriously, it's like, oh, I guess now it kind of makes sense that, you know, our military is like never big enough. Like we got shamed at our little wee, and we've been trying to compensate ever since 1952.
Our little wee.
So I gotta love that all this like heavy messages of authority for all the world governments is just being beamed into this single guy just lying on the desert in the middle of the night.
Like, can you imagine being that person receiving this information? What are you supposed to even do with this?
Right? Now, remember, Van Tassel wasn't a nobody. Like, he was a pretty successful engineer, had been with some big companies, but still, he wasn't exactly like a leader of a nation.
No, and no matter what, when you come out with this stuff, everybody thinks you're just insane. Like, you're written off as crazy. It doesn't matter your title. People are just going to be like, oh, that dude lost his mind.
Right? So he mentioned the forces of darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that. We're going to learn a lot more about the forces of darkness later. Probably not this episode, but maybe not even the next episode on this, but it's coming. Like, the forces of darkness is a thing. Okay. Just remember it.
Hell yeah.
I'll tease you now, though. Who or what do you think the forces of darkness might be?
Another group of hot aliens with great hair?
Maybe. Maybe. You know what, though? We were talking about like how Venus is like the planet Lucifer because it's all hot and because it's close to the sun. Maybe the forces of darkness, they come from the other side. Like that's like Neptune way out there in the cosmos, you know? It's like the forces of darkness, those weirdos that live out on the outer rim.
They're like, we're from Pluto and you wrote us off as a planet, not a planet. So we're coming back for a vengeance.
Pluto's a fucking planet. Hello, we're the Plutonians.
We're the Plutonians. So going back to your question about, you know, where are they beaming from? So I wasn't thorough in my answer. So a lot of times it's from above orbit, but as he mentions in this particular message, sometimes it's from their little space station, their station of Cher, as he keeps referring to it, which I'm still trying to figure out what and exactly where that is. But all that to say, there's a space station out there somewhere that they also do some message beaming from.
Oh, on the other side of the moon.
Oh, okay, yeah, that would make
I'll
sense.
just bring all the conspiracies in.
Yes, on the dark side of the moon.
There's a message. It's out there. I don't know. It's around. Just check it out. Look around. I'm not your seeing eye dog. Just go find it.
Okay, so we're still not done with this message. He continues.
Of course he does.
Wordy.
He yammers.
For those few whose mentality is not diverted, men of science, I shall inform you that our ships could not be visible to the mortal eye of the people of Sean were it not for the elements in your atmosphere. A few enlightened minds will understand that. It is difficult to make one reason who has lost all reason. It is difficult for any mortal to conceive that with higher intelligence in various stages, they have been away from it so long. I would also inform your government of this nation that the information that was mailed to the intelligence was transmitted to foreign nations out of their own office, in the lights of a peace beyond the comprehension of mortal beings. We shall remain with you. I am Ashtar, Commandant's Station Chair.
Kiss, kiss.
Love you.
I think I'm confused about the international, I don't know, like like what did that mean? You know what I'm talking about?
That wasn't perfectly crystal clear to you?
What did that mean?
That's what you're confused about? All the other stuff makes sense, but this is where it's like, I don't understand. I don't understand any of this shit.
So in the book, he says again, like, I would also inform your government that the information that was mailed to the intelligence, capital I. So I guess some U.S. intelligence agency, who mailed what, when? I don't know.
How?
But I guess it happened.
I guess
It's like,
so.
when did Ashtar or one of his guys come down and use the U.S. Postal Service? I don't know. Did they have stamps? Did they have to buy stamps? What did they buy the stamps with? These are the questions that keep me up.
Did they get the Elvis Presley commemorative stamps?
1952?
Oh, yeah. Did they get the, I don't know, Harry Truman commemorative stamps?
Right.
Well, isn't Truman the one that made contact with aliens?
There you go.
Ah.
They're like,
Comes
he's our
full
buddy.
All right. So remember way back in season 1, when I first introduced us to the Ashtar Galactic Command, I did explain that there was an invisible space fleet around the Earth. Is also said in the opening of this episode. So he's once again pointing out, it's like, so I guess at this point he's actually saying, you usually can't see us, but there's stuff going on in your atmosphere right now that's kind of letting you see us. So enjoy being lucky for a little bit, I guess.
Pollution?
Right? I don't know. So I guess elements in our atmosphere, quote unquote, whatever that means, can render them visible sometimes.
Okay.
So that was in August. So Ashtar comes back just a few days later. He's not done. On August 8th, Ashtar's going to take a little pause.
You know what? I was just thinking, with this whole like, oh, they're coming into orbit. There's Ashtar in his chair. He's like, and of course, there's no way that they can see our spaceships. Actually, sir, there's stuff in the atmosphere, and they're seeing everything. And you cut back to Ashtar, and like, he's not wearing pants, and he's just like, what? Plateau, damn it! I mean, I totally knew y'all could see me. Enjoy these glutes. And then he's flexing them in his whitey tighties.
So maybe that embarrassment is why he took a pause for a few days.
Yeah,
because on August 8th, a few days later, George gets another message, but this time it's not from Ashtar.
I am Blarrock, assistant to Ashtar. All projections, all waves, station of Shar. Much of the information we could advance to you from our center is being withheld due to a law of security measure in your nation, which could place you within the penalty of treason. We are not going to give you information that will endanger you. You are advised from our center to especially observe the skies for your period of the next few weeks. There will be an earthquake in your southern hemisphere in the immediate future. Discontinue.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, was there an earthquake, and did he watch the skies and see spaceships?
Also, if this was a movie, it would just be Chris Hemsworth again, but he's like wearing like some like wig and be like, Ashtar? No. I'm not Ashtar. I'm Blarrock. I'm Blarrock. You're Blarrock? Yeah. I work for Ashtar. He's too busy right now and he's a little mad because of stuff. So I'm gonna speak for him. Okay, sure. Blarrock.
Who I guess is Ashtar's executive assistant.
That's a hard job.
It's a very common name from if you lived on the planet Sean.
We live on planet Sean.
Wait, Earth is planet Sean?
Earth is Sean. Yes.
Oh, wow. I haven't been following this correctly. Gosh, I'm sorry.
He left.
I was trying to mute and then I just hit stop. I'm out.
So some questions raised, right? As you've so noted, but starting with wait, you can't give George more information because it'll make George liable for treason. So as long as you don't tell him George is safe, I guess whatever. As long as George doesn't know whatever it is they're not sharing, he won't be accused of treason. I guess thought crime is the thing now. So yeah, you're asking about earthquakes. So kind of a conveniently vague prediction, don't you think? Because an earthquake that's somewhere around the lower half of the planet, somewhere soon ish. That's all you got to give us.
I mean, it's better than there's gonna be an earthquake. Period.
A little.
It's gonna be off over there. You just gestured the whole Western Hemisphere. I don't know, that in that direction. That's not helping, dude.
So because of that vagueness, I can't verify anything. I mean, there were no cataclysmic earthquakes, but he didn't say cataclysmic earthquake. So for all we know, it could have been some just minor tremor on the ocean floor somewhere, which happens all the time, right? So I don't know.
Okay.
That's like
That wasn't
saying
as fun as I was hoping.
Right?
It's like saying there's gonna be a tornado in the south. No shit. Good to know. And then it happened. Oh, he predicted it. Oh my god.
So Blaurock hasn't been very helpful so far, but we're not done with Blaurock. Blaurock comes back just 2 days later. Like Blaurock's a little bit more needy. He's coming back fast.
Look, once again, I'm Blaurock. Ashtar's busy. I'm his personal assistant, so.
The lights and blessings of Cher are transmitted to you, and from our center, we are instructed to advance to you their blessings. I am Lara. You have my official status report. Our center requests that I advance you this information. Our projections are about to be witnessed by many of the people throughout all the countries of this planet, over several of your most important cities. Will the governments decide that they shall abandon their development of nuclear destruction through the use of the element hydrogen? We shall then inform them of the other object of our interest in this climate shot. Our perception of what is going on has not created the faintest concern among our higher authorities. We can see the purpose of hidden control. We can also foresee its failure in future discontinued.
So remember, like just a few days ago, Ashtar was saying, look, we're not interested in making any big show, any big appearance in front of you guys. And out like a couple of weeks later, here's Blaurock going like, we're popping up over all your cities. Get ready. Like, does the not know what the right's doing here? What's going on?
So it's 1952.
Yeah,
this was July.
We're in August now, so it started in July.
Okay.
And we're in early August.
Well, because I was looking up like UFO sightings and stuff.
Right.
So there was a 1952 Washington D.C. UFO incident, but that was in
Invasion of D.C. Right, and it was too early in the year. That had already come and gone.
Yeah, it was July 12th to the 29th. I was like, oh, dang it.
I'm getting a little disturbed how much of this I now know off the top of my head.
Yeah, I know you already knew that. You were like,
I'm in too deep, man. I'm in too deep. But yeah, so all right. So I have no idea what Ashtar's executive assistant means by us witnessing quote unquote projections. What context? What's a projection of what? What are you projecting? Like a lot of times the projections are, I thought, telepathic messages, but not all of them are telepathic. So what are you doing? What are you doing?
Also, they know
the image in the sky.
Yeah. Also, they know we're stupid. Like, be more specific.
Right. Very explicit about this. So, and to further muddy the waters, it's the 1950s. It's the UFO craze. So there's no shortage of UFO reports like all over the place. So, like, if you really want to argue that, yeah, people were seeing UFOs. I mean, yeah, it was the 50s craze. There was a lot of reports. Just nothing I could find over. No major city events like you mentioned with there was the DC event, but it was too early. It had already come and gone. So unless they're time traveling, that's not happening. Which, by the way, so there have been a couple of apparently major events where like everybody in a major city saw UFOs. One being that invasion of DC, as it's commonly called. The other is often referred to as the Battle of Los Angeles. So don't worry, those will be 2 future episodes because it's not an Ashtar episode unless it spins off like 10 other episodes.
Can't wait.
All right. Well, let's carry on just a little bit more here and get a little bit more enlightenment before we wrap up for the day. So now a few days pass, 5 days to be specific. It's now August 15th. And finally,
Greetings, thou being of Sean. In the light of love and peace I come to you. Commandant of the station Shire, I am Ashtar. Having returned to the station Shire from the center, I advance to your scientists the following information. We have told you that the element hydrogen is a living substance. In the composition of your physical being, in the air you breathe, and the water you drink, are 5 elements of living substance besides hydrogen. The elements nitrogen, oxygen, carbon, fluorine, and sodium. Much of your material science has been directed to disproving theory that does not conform to the personal beliefs of some scientific authority. Among the scientific mentalities of this planet, Sean, are many minor scientists who do not have the authority to change these opinions that have been disproved.
we're getting a little conspiracy theory-ish. We've heard this one before, haven't we?
Yeah.
What you doing, Ashtar boy? Is like so this is kind of ever since been kind of a common trope, right? We have these, lesser famous scientists who they figured out the truth, but the elite scientists at the top won't let them speak because it's all a conspiracy, right? So that's how we got climate change denial. That's part of the narrative, right? So not to say there's also a little bit of credence to it. I mean, there is in the scientific community, some hierarchical problems sometimes where, I mean, throughout history, we've had some revolutionary scientists who's gotten shot down by his peers until he was proven, but still not to the kooky conspiracy level that we're talking about here.
It's mostly the big companies that fund science rather than the scientists themselves.
Right. So anyway, sorry to interrupt. Let's continue hearing from our Lord and Savior Ashtar.
We have advanced you information in the faint hope that some of your governmental authorities would grasp the fact that with the explosion of living substance, they create a condition parallel to what your scientists call frozen equilibrium. This release of free hydrogen into the atmosphere of this planet will cause flames to engulf many portions of this planet momentarily. Those in authority in the governments are assuming direct responsibility, not only for the people inhabiting this planet, but their own immediate families, wives, children, parents, and relatives are also their responsibility, for these dear ones shall not escape. You, in authority of the governments of the planet Sean, think twice if you would have your loved ones with you. Consult your physicists. Ask them about the parallel condition of frozen equilibrium. They will inform you, if they speak the truth and are not influenced otherwise by the forces of darkness, that this is truth. Wake up, you who would believe only those who direct you. Stand before the people. Tell those who influence your mental decisions that they too are involved. In the light of love, I transmit you a continuous beam here through a vent log which has been stationed in this cone of receptivity at a level 72,000 miles above you, beyond reach of any traps. I shall return, my love. I am Ashtar.
Again with like that
Wow.
na boo boo. You can't get me.
Philly's so gaslit.
I know. It's like, come get me. You can't, bro. But also, I love you. Let me shower you with my love.
Some cutting criticism, some love bombing. You got to keep it balanced.
He knows what we like.
Yeah, he does.
So what the hell's a Vitla?
I don't know.
I don't know. I thought you did.
Ventla.
That
This
didn't
is
help.
the first I've heard of it. Like
Spelling it out didn't help.
No, it doesn't because like oh
Ventla,
okay.
event software for increased engagement.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, that explains it. He was the tech bro all along.
Yes. Hilarious.
Little techies.
So he talked about the quote unquote parallel condition of frozen equilibrium. Any guesses what that's going on about?
I don't know what that means.
So I did a little bit of digging, and I am once again going to share some math and science from the words of moron because I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I'm gonna take a stab at it. So apparently, in rocket science, in our layman's terms, there are concepts of both frozen flows and equilibrium flows. Okay.
Oh.
I'm too stupid to comprehend what exactly they are, other than to say they're two types of flows and that they're basically opposite of each other. Like one is opposite the other on the spectrum of flowy thingies or something.
Flowy thingies.
But again, like that's the closest approximation I could find in the language. And again, it's rocket science. It's kind of sounds like it'd be relevant. But again, Ashtar said frozen equilibrium, but those are two different. You have frozen flows and equilibrium flows, not frozen equilibrium. The two different things that are opposite of each other. So, like as far as I know, he's just spouting techno babble.
I believe it.
So you can be
Like,
frozen and you can be equilibrium, but they're two completely different opposing things.
It's like one of the CEOs. It's like in the meetings, and he's just spouting out the buzzwords. Yeah, synchronicity or synergy, and
You gotta grab that low hanging fruit.
George, we need you to take this offline and take this to your government, do some synergizing with the governments of the earth, and circle back to me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Circle back. We'll table this until you can get more information.
We're gonna stick a pin in this.
So this whole he's talking about if you keep going about getting ready to blow up your H bomb, if you do it, you're gonna burn your atmosphere. Don't do it. So for what it's worth, there was a very real fear that very result might happen. If you've seen Oppenheimer, that came out within the past, I don't have a sense of time anymore, but within the past year or so, right? Oppenheimer showed them, like there's a line in there where they're talking about, there is a non-zero chance of that happening. So it was a very low chance, but it was non-zero, and they did roll that dice when they exploded the first H bomb. So give credit where it's due. He's not talking out his butt entirely. So of note, since we're talking so much about H bombs now, just FYI, fun history fact, kids, the Soviet Union's SAR bomb, TSAR, their SAR bomb was the biggest bomb ever detonated. It didn't, and it was an H bomb. It didn't destroy our atmosphere, as you're probably well aware, but it did double its radiation level.
Whoa.
So credit where credit's due. Ashtar was giving us at least some semi-valid warnings.
And it held the record for the biggest bomb until Gigli came out.
Yes.
That's a movie I haven't heard of in a while.
Okay, so we're drawing close to a close for today because I have drawn on long enough. But let's bring it in for this episode. So that was August 15th. Again, they don't sit still for long. We're back on August 22nd. Now, August is a busy month for the people up on chair.
From the sector system of Bela, I greet you from the Progress Sector Station chair in love and peace. I am Ashtar, Commandant, all projections, always. We have transmitted to you numerous messages and requested that they be forwarded.
Forwarded. That word is
Forwarded.
weird to say.
Forwarded. Also, every time he says Ashtar, you say Ashtar Commandants?
That's a really hard word to say. Commandant.
Commandant? Because it just sounded like Ashtar, come on us.
I'm having a really hard time with that word.
I was like, Ashtar, what? Ashtar, come on us?
Okay, from the top.
He's like, shut up, Chris.
From the sector system of Bela, I greet you from the Progress Sector Station Share in love and peace. I am Ashtar, Commandant, all projections, always. We have transmitted to you numerous messages and requested that they be forwarded to your governments, and through them, to all governments of this planet, Sean. This transcript tonight is not for your government. You who have devoted your efforts to attaining this receptivity are entitled to some information for yourselves. We are not desirous of creating any further confusion on this planet. You are to make every immediate effort to consolidate this center. Many brothers are being inspired to join you here. You are instructed to work together without personal regard for individual property. You are instructed further to consolidate your unity, to build all structures possible, to prepare for immediate changes, especially prepare for food storage due to rapid changes now affecting the financial, military, and political conjunction. We advance you this information in the light of true love. I am Ashtar.
Kiss.
And antisocial dudes with home bunkers have been preparing for apocalyptic food shortages ever since.
Oh, yeah. I was looking at a seed kit today and trying to figure out how to purify water without like chemicals and like special equipment.
And again, it's happened again, just like I said in the season finale. He's talking about you all get together, work together with no regard for individual property. Space communism, baby.
Yep. Oh man, the communists come from everywhere, don't they? Trying to invade America.
They're everywhere.
They just didn't consider that communism could be coming from 70,000 feet up.
Yeah.
From space. So I love how this messaging somehow manages to combine like prepper stuff, which is typically like owned by the hard right, with far left like shared property communism like speak. Like we're covering all the bases. There's something for everybody. So again, to remind you, it is the Cold War, so this is all kind of on brand, I guess.
Yeah, it makes sense.
All right, so we're gonna close with one final message, and then we will pick it up next time that you guys let me take over an episode. August 24th, the messages continue.
In the love and peace of eternal light, greetings to the mortal beings of Sean. I am Ashtar. Let me first inform you that we are grateful for your continual efforts in maintaining this contact power. For the information of your scientific minds that the planet Sean, our ventulas do not spin. The emanation of spiral radiation from our ships gives the illusion of spinning. The upper or positive polarity of a ventula radiates emanations outwardly from the center. Due to the collection and concentration of light particles through a vortex funnel in the center unseen, these light emanations radiating outward appear as grooves on one of your photograph records. The lower negative polarity operates in a reverse manner. This light substance emanation is contained within a field of zero circumference, which is void, giving the impression of an edge. Your spectroscopic camera will reveal us only as light in the spectrum, plus elements in your atmosphere. Advance this information also to those who still doubt. I leave you with love. I am Ashtar.
Jesus. I leave you with love.
So you get all that? You get all that? You taking notes?
No, really. It's something. My brain is mush.
It's
too
okay
stupid.
because I did.
Okay, I'm sure you did. I'm too stupid for any of this.
Okay, now we know what a ventla is, sort of.
We do? Okay.
Yeah, so basically that whole very convoluted message was him just out of the blue deciding it's time to describe to George how the ship works. So this is my understanding of my own attempt at translating Ashtar speak. So the ship we have already established is made of light, right? It's like made of photons or whatever. So he's saying, okay, so the ship is made of light and radiation spirals outward from that ship so that it looks like a spinning thing. So, or if you could see the ship, it would look like a spinning thing. Like it's kind of, I'm getting confused that he's given us all these visual descriptors for something we can't see, but okay, I'll run with it. In my mind, I'm visioning like these little like light propellers, like it's a little VTOL helicopter thing.
You could see if you were cool enough.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, we are very visual though, so it makes sense that he would try to explain it to us visually. I did want to ask, so you say like he just decided to suddenly give this information about the ship. Are there a lot of communications between, like the last one that you heard and then this next one?
No.
And he didn't document it, or okay. So this was just like, here are the only communications I've gotten. Does he ask like questions that would lead to getting this information?
So the book isn't exactly, remember, I said it's a very short book, and this is one reason why he doesn't elaborate on much. He does on occasion, like George himself, but when you get to this part of the book, it's basically like it just keeps moving from one message to the next, and it's just hitting you rapid fire. So like he'll come in with a little bit of commentary, but never anything to explain the stuff we want to hear. So I don't know if he's like, he never shares his responses. Okay. So I don't know if maybe he's never said anything and he's just lying here quietly on the desert and they're just talking at him over and over and over again. It's like he's such a good listener.
I have to imagine that he at least sets some sort of intention before he starts channeling these guys, or like is asking questions, but okay, maybe not. He's just spaced out.
And remember, he's laying out here in the desert, like with his wife and 2 daughters, like sleeping out in the desert with him, right? So
he's just tripping balls.
Wow.
So yeah, so Ventla is the spinning thing on a light ship, for lack of a better understanding. And the Ventla, while it's spinny, it's radiating positive or negative polarity outward from the ship. Okay, that sounds cool. So I guess the photons that make up the ship, those are held in place, not just flying willy-nilly, and held in place to make a ship, I guess. They're held in place by a vortex funnel. And isn't a vortex funnel kind of redundant? A vortex and a funnel.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess.
Like that seems, I don't know. Just saying. So anyway, back to the Ventlas. You can't see them, but if you could see them, they look like a spinning thing. But you can sort of kind of see them through a phonograph where they appear like grooves. So let's be clear. A phonograph is a record player. What do record players do? Is that a trick question?
They spin.
Well, but they play sound.
They also play sound.
So, which you can't see. So, what? Because he says like you can see our Ventlas when they're transmitted through a phonograph, through your record player. That's not how a record player works.
Well, you know how like they try to they have those things where it tries to do the ticky things for the sound.
Yeah. Like detecting earthquakes, right?
Yeah.
That's
And
the
it
first
goes
thing
through
I
a
thought
funnel.
too.
A phonograph is a funnel. So it goes through that and then comes out, and maybe that's the waves, like the sound waves, but we can't see it with our naked eye.
That was my first thought too, but he specifically says phonograph, which again is just synonymous with record player. Like record players don't print out any. It's not like the I can't think of the word off the top of my head, but the device that they use to detect earthquakes.
Yeah.
Record players don't do that. They just play sound. So, but it's like Ashtar, do you not know how a record player works?
Maybe he's not as all that as he's claiming to be.
Oh, damn.
Shots
Wow.
fired.
Wow, casting shade on Ashtar. Man, keep our distance from Christina. I don't want to get struck. So let's not we got more to pick apart here. So at some point the light substance is contained in a void, which he also described as a field of zero circumference. Okay. So first of all, a void can't contain anything because it's a void. So
I mean, if it contains something, then it's not a void.
right. And a void can't have an edge because again, it's a void. Right? I mean, am I just not understanding like quantum physics stuff? Am I am like being smooth brain here. So I'm just thinking
I
of
don't
void.
know shit about quantum physics.
Also, zero circumference does not mean void. It just means not a circle. Like if an object does not have the circumference, it just means it's not a circle. It's something else that's not circly.
Yeah,
So,
I think he was just like tripping. And so
right?
all these like science terms came out, but they are nonsensical because he doesn't understand them.
You know, the light comes out of our radiation ventilators, which you can record on your CD player in your car. But you got to be careful because our triangles don't have circumferences.
Oh, my
Yeah.
love.
All my love, baby. Kiss, kiss. So I guess Ashtar is a really bad geometry student, is the takeaway from this.
I was a bad geometry student, so I don't
I-
know. I couldn't tell you.
I was a bad trig student. Like trig was my weakness. I had calculus down, but somehow trig killed me.
Math and I
Yeah.
do not get along at all.
That's fair. All right. So anyway, apparently the only way to see Ashtar and friends is via a spectroscopic camera. So those are real things. Those are cameras that separate light information into their various multiple wavelengths. So it is a thing. And going back, what makes me really kind of curious about what we're seeing unfold here, assuming we got a lot of technobabble going on, keep in mind that George is writing this book, and George is not an idiot, as we learned in the last season finale episode. Like he was a very educated engineer with a very successful career. So it's weird to me that the science here is so whatever it is. All right, I have drawn on long enough, so we're gonna pause on the Ashtar love right here and give you some time to let it settle, to let it sink into your brain, take it all in.
To let it get in there, do its thing, give yourself time to get yourself checked, because you never know. Ashtar gets around.
So I promised you some Ashtar this season, and I'm going to give you some Ashtar. So here's what we're going to do going forward. So next episode, you're going to get one of these guys giving you a break with one of their normaler stories, right? That's a little less Ashtar. Give you a breather. And then I'm going to be back, baby. I'm going to be back bringing the Ashtar.
The way you did that, you're just like, so what we're going to be doing here is I got some Ashtar, right? I'm going to be bringing some Ashtar. You want Ashtar? You're going to be getting Ashtar. It's going to be coming 24/7, right? But, we're going to break it up a little bit with these people.
I don't think I was quite so Boomhauer, Chris.
Maybe not, but you were getting, it felt like a car commercial from 1980s. Like, we've got Ashtar. We've got lots of Ashtar here. We're going to be giving you Ashtar because I promised you Ashtar.
Well, anywho, so my next episode, I will conclude the final sayings of Ashtar to George as they were recorded in his book. I wrote a Flying Saucer, and then later this season I'll come back around and we're gonna find out where Ashtar is today. What's he up to?
Oh yeah, where's Bestie?
Yeah, we'll talk about Ashtar and the universe, people.
We'll find out. It may not have only been a flying saucer that he rode.
Yeah, baby.
All righty.
Yeah.
Well, if you like this episode, you can like it, share it. If you have any questions, if you have any stories that you'd like to share with
Share the
us,
Ashtar.
yes,
Share the Ashtar with all.
share that Ashtar. Get it all up in there. You can email us at littlepodcasthorrors@gmail.com. Other than that,
Ashtar.
hail Ashtar.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Little Podcast of Horrors. If you like this episode, please like, subscribe, and share. Got a true tale of the unexplained? Send us an email at littlepodcasthorrors@gmail.com or visit our website at littlepodcastofhorrors.com. If you'd like to support the podcast, join our Patreon. For $2 a month, you get access to our private Discord server where we chat, game, and you'll get access to episode extras. Don't want to commit to a monthly subscription? Make a one-time donation through Spotify or buy us a coffee. All donations keep the lights on for the show and help us fund future on-location visits to haunted places. Links are in the episode description. Want to learn witchy stuff? Take a course with Bearbridge Academy. You can also hire a witch or psychic at the Otso Salon. Be sure to use code LittlePodcast for 20% off Bearbridge courses and Otso services. Thanks for listening, my loves. Bye.